Good morning all. I am Pradeep Singh Yadav. So in this lecture we will discuss about the ways that is used to program any programmable devices. Okay, that means in this lecture we will study how we can program any digital devices that can be used in any CMOS circuits. Okay, so this one is the syllabus of your first unit, and the first line and the second line of your syllabus is almost completed. This one is the last topic, programmable logic and structure. The programmable logic structure is already covered in your previous lecture. Programmable logic structure is already covered in your previous lecture. In this lecture we will discuss what are the different strategies that can be used to program these logic circuits. Okay, in this lecture we only discuss the ways that can be used to program these logic structures. Okay, so if you divide any programmable devices into certain categories, then there are the only three types of programmable devices. The first one is programmable logic structure, the second one is programmable interconnect, and the third one is reprogrammable gate array. Okay, the first part is programmable logic structure. First one is, what is the meaning of programmable devices? Any devices that can be programmed by using a certain ways is known as programmable devices. These all programmable devices is very essential for electronic industry or for electronic field, because the element can be is used to store any memory. It can be used to store any data. Okay, so in these all structures, the first part, that is programmable logic structure, is already covered in our previous lecture. So first go through the previous lecture and study what is the meaning of programmable logic structure. Okay, but I am taking the programmable logic structure, the structure of programmable logic circuit is also here, to start the remaining part of, or to connect this lecture with the previous lecture. We discussed this whole structure, discussed this whole programmable logic structure in our previous lecture. Okay, in that lecture we studied that these are the words line, these vertical line are the bits line, and these are the AND gates, and the connection between a word line and the connection between vertical line and horizontal line can be done by using the programming. Okay, so when AND gate is the input of AND gate is programmed and the input of OR gate is fixed, because no interconnection between horizontal and vertical line is here, so we can say the OR input of OR gate is fixed, but the input of AND gate is variable, or it is programmed. Okay, so when we get this type of strategy, when we get this type of logic devices, then this type of logic is devices where the AND gate is programmable and the OR gate is fixed. This type of programmable devices is known as programmable array logic. Okay, when AND gate is programmable and OR gate is fixed, so this type of programmable devices is known as programmable array logic. And when in certain structure AND gate is programmable as well as OR gate is programmable, so that type of programmable devices is known as PLA, programmable logic array. Okay, this one is the difference between these two type of programmable logic devices. One is PLA and another one is PAL. Okay, so here we can see that the word line and bit line, the horizontal line and vertical lines are connected, and when these lines are connected, so it make a memory cell. So in this lecture we will discuss what are the different strategy through which we can connect this vertical line and horizontal line to connect to store a certain data to make a memory cell. Okay. Okay, so these are the three types which can be used to make any programmable array logic, to make a programmable or array logic, or we can say when to make any memory cell. Okay, the first one is fusible link. The first one is known as fusible link. Okay, this one is the theoretical portion of fusible link. What is the fusible link? We know that how memory cells are framed, how memory cells are made. For making any memory cell, first we need a bit line. These vertical line represent a bit line. When we connect this bit line, this vertical line with the horizontal word line, then the interconnection between bit line and word line is known as memory cell. Here certain bits are stored. When these are connected with each other, so we can say some bits are stored into it. Okay, so when this one are the fused with each other, so we can say these are the certain bits are stored into it. Okay, so we can say only one memory bit, one memory cell is here. But when we increase the number of bit line and word lines, so that we can see that number of memory cells are increased, number of interconnection between vertical line and horizontal lines are increased. Okay, so each interconnection makes a cell known as memory cell. Okay, so how can we program it? We know that there is a certain structure, there is a certain strategy through which we can easily connect the vertical line or horizontal line. If we made these horizontal line and vertical line by using a certain metal, such as we can consider a platinum silicide or titanium tungsten. If we consider a platinum silicide or titanium tungsten for making this word line and bit line, so by providing a certain high voltage, when we provide a certain high voltage, then these all metals are fused into it, fused with each other. When we provide certain high voltage with the word line, as well as provide a certain high voltage into bit line, then these two lines are fused with each other. So these fused are making some link. That's why it is known as fusible links. Okay, these are made with metal lines, and the metal can be platinum silicide or it can be titanium tungsten. Okay, so this type of memory structure, this type of memory making approach is known as fusible link. Okay, one error is occurred into it. One main disadvantage is that for making a memory cell, we need a very high voltage. Okay, we need a very high voltage that we provide into a word line as well as into a bit line. This one is the main voltage. This one is the main disadvantage that occurs in fusible link. Another disadvantage is that this is the one time operation. Only one time we can store certain data into it. Okay, and for extracting the word line with the bit line, we can use the UV rays to cut these fuses. Okay, so this one is the main disadvantage of this fusible link, that we need a very high voltage for to fuse the vertical line with horizontal line, or we can say to fuse word line with the bit line, or for making a memory cell. And we need a certain laser technique or UV rays to cut this aluminum fuses. Okay, this one is the main disadvantage of this memory cell. Okay, now we can also use a UV erasable EEPROM structure, UV erasable EEPROM strategy for making a memory cell. Okay, here EEPROM stands for erasable programmable read-only memory. Now what is the mean of read-only memory? Read-only memory, that means we can only read that type of memory, but we also write that memory more than one time. But because we need a very the time requirement to write the memory is very high, that's why we can say we can only read this type of memory. Okay, so we are taking a new technique, that is UV erasable programmable read-only memory here. Okay, we know that for making a memory cell, we need a bit line and we need a word line here. Okay, we need a bit line and we need a word line. But here we are making a certain new approach. This approach is also known as famous. Famous stands for fused. Famous stands for fused, or we can say famous stands for fused, or we can say floating. Okay, so floating gate. Famous stands for floating gate avalanche metal oxide semiconductor. This approach, that means UV erasable EEPROM strategy, is also known as FAMOS. FAMOS. FA stands for floating gate avalanche metal oxide semiconductor. Okay, in this type of approach, we know that for making any CMOS devices, if we want to implement a NMOS device, then first we need a p-type substrate, and then we need a certain anvil, and the one anvil is used to find out the drain end, and another anvil is used to making a source end, and these lines are represented the oxide. Here the portion that is overlap with inside the oxide region is known as floated gate. Okay, this one is the floated gate, and this one is the gate structure. This one is the poly. This above structure is known as poly. This one is also poly. This one is also poly, and we know that for making a gate we need a poly. That means a metal. When we connect two metals, then this type of structure is known as floated gate. Why it is known as floated gate? Because the second gate that is floated here inside the oxide is no connected with source end or drain end. That's why it is known as floated gate structure. Okay, so in this UV erasable programmable read-only memory, you can see that it is made with floating gate structure. Floating gate structure, that means the inner portion of gate is floating, is in the floating form, that is it is not connected with anyone. That's why this structure is known as floating gate structure. Okay, and we know that when for operating of any NMOS and for operating of any CMOS devices, first we need to implement a channel, and for making a channel, first we provide certain gate voltage, and after making a certain channel, when we provide a drain voltage, then current go through the source end to drain end, and the working of NMOS starts and working of CMOS starts. Okay, but here we can see when we provide a very high voltage with the gate structure, you can see when we provide a very high voltage in the gate side, in the gate terminal, at that time when we provide very high voltage in the gate end, then you can see at that time we know that the majority carrier in the p-type substrate is all holes are doped, all holes are universally concentrated in the whole structure. But when we provide a very high voltage, at that time these all holes are repelled with this surface. So when these holes are repelled in this surface, so to cover this surface, the remaining electrons are moved towards the floating gate. When because of this thin oxide layer, when the all electrons are doped in this floated gate, then we can say this certain data is stored in this memory cell. I'm repeating, when we provide a very high gate voltage, then the holes that present in this p-type substrate are repelled with the surface of oxide, and to cover this oxide surface, to cover this remaining portion, all electrons are moved towards the floating gate structure, and because of this thin oxide layer, the electrons are passed and doped in the this floated gate structure. When these electrons are doped in this floated gate structure, so that so this gate is negatively charged, because when we provide very high voltage of this gate compared to this drain end, so we can say this at that time this floated gate becomes negatively charged, and when this floated gate becomes negatively charged, so at that time the threshold voltage that is required to operate this device becomes very high. Okay, so in normal voltage it is not in conducting stage, so we can say in normal voltage certain data is stored into it. This one is the working of this UV prom. This one is the working of this UV-PROM. Here you can see the 13 to 14 voltage applied to the control end. What is the control end? This gate is the control end. Here I have written a plus 20 volt, that means I have written 25 volt, that means we have to provide a very high voltage to make this floating gate into a negatively charged. When this floating gate is negatively charged, so we can say that some memory is stored into it. Okay, some memory is stored into it. I think this all is clear to all of you. Okay, this all is clear to all of you. Now this one is the structure of this floating gate. Here you can say the below portion, yeah, or the below gate is known as floating gate, and the above portion gate is the main gate supply, main control gate, that is electrically connected, but the below portion of below gate is not connected into each other. Okay, so this floating gate structure is represented by using this symbol. Here you can say the two lines are connected with two lines are connected to make a gate, and the middle horizontal line is the floating gate. The middle horizontal line is the floating gate, and the last one is the electrically connected gate. Last one is the electrically connected gate. Here the horizontal line is a bit line, and the vertical line is vert line. Horizontal line is bit line, and vertical line is bit line. Horizontal line is bit line, and vertical line is vert line. Clear? Now one question arises that how data is stored in this memory cell. How data is stored in this memory cell? You can see here I am implementing. I have made two horizontal line. Also I have made two vertical line. The vertical line is known as bit line. The horizontal line is known as word line. The vertical line is known as bit line. The horizontal line is known as word line. Okay, it is clear to all of you. Now when we know that the floated gate avalanche metal oxide semiconductor is having a threshold voltage is very high. So in normal voltage it is not in the it is not in conducting stage. So when we provide a very high voltage, only at that time this one is in conducting stage. When this one is in conducting stage, so we can say this one is the sorted with each other. So at that time the value that is provided with in the bit line is the value, or we can say the voltage that is provided in the bit line is moved towards the ground, and the output becomes 0. Okay, we can say the word line is used to control the gate, and the input of bit line is provided here by the using of this avalanche gate. Okay, so this one is all about the UV erasable. Now some points are there related with UV erasable metal oxide semiconductor is that it can be programmed 10th year at 125 degrees centigrade. It means that this type of memory cell can be programmed, can store the data in very large area. Okay, but these memory cell also having some disadvantage. One of the disadvantages that we for erasing the data with this type of memory cell, we need to extract this memory cell, we need to extract this memory structure, and making and provide some UV rays into it to erase the data. And when we provide some UV rays into it, then all the data that is stored in the memory cell is erased completely. This one is the main disadvantage of this UV erasable memory cell. Now the last one is EEPROM. The structure of this EEPROM is represented here. Represented here. The whole structure of this EEPROM and the UV erasable EEPROM is similar, but the main difference is that it can be electrically erased. how we can say it can be electrically erased. We know that the here also there is some floating gate structure, here also there is some floating gate structure, but this floating gate structure is overlapped with the drain structure. So for erasing the data with this gate structure, when we provide some drain voltage, so the electron that doped in the gate structure separated the floating gate, and the data that is stored in the floating gate is erased completely. Okay, so this one is the only difference between EEPROM structure and UV erasable programmable structure. Now here some points are given, such as the structure of EEPROM is very much similar to UV-PROM. Okay, the main difference is that the main difference is that for erasing the data with the EEPROM we need some UV rays, but for erasing the data with this EEPROM we just need some electrical voltage that is provided in the drain end of the MOSFET. Okay, I think this one is clear to all of you. So the next point is, to overcome this drawback, there is slightly modification done in the fabrication. What modification is done in the EEPROM structure? The main difference is that when we make a floating gate structure, or when we made a control gate structure, at that time some portion of gate is overlapped with the drain structure. So when we provide some electrical voltage to the drain, at that time the ions or the electron that implanted in the floated gates, because of that it is negatively charged, are separated with it, and this one is completely erased. This one is the only difference with the fabrication structure of EEPROM and UV EEPROM. Okay, I think these three topics is clear to all of you. In next lecture we will discuss about programmable interconnect. Okay, thank you so much.